In this video we will learn how to use the OpenSubDiv Modifier for freeform modeling in a parametric way. My 3D model is based on a very simple box with extrusions, and what I did is I just used different kind of edit poly modifier and animate mode. The advantage is that I can still change parameters, for example like the thickness of my bag. I can also change the thickness of or the length of my legs, which I do right now. And on top I just did some modeling, and I just deformed different kind of vertex points. For example, I just choose this vertex point and I can just move this, and you can also see what's happening in my 3D model. And as a last step, I just added my OpenSubDiv, and this is also the thing we will really work on, that you learn this, and this is quite easy to do. Okay, we start with a really simple box. I just add an edit poly modifier on top. I want to be able to change all the parameters afterwards, so I always use my animate mode. I go into edge, I select these two edges, and under edit edge I go into connect, and you can see that I can just draw a line between my edges. I enter this value 17 and just rename with right mouse click this like edit poly connect, and call this the back of my chair. Okay, and I just add another edit poly on top, and here again I just scroll up and go into animate, go into polygons this time, and I just want to extrude my bag. I just go into extrude and enter a value of 40 centimeters. Okay, finish this one. And also here I just say right mouse click and rename it edit poly extrude, and call this back. I just rename all my modifiers to have a better overview afterwards, and so I don't lose my control. And the next thing, I just do it with my leg, and here again I just scroll up and go into animate mode and choose two edges, these two, and go down again into my edit edges connect. And what you can see is you can increase the amount of, sorry, do it here, you can increase the amount of edges which I in this case don't want. For example, these could be two legs, and then you can change the directions and things like this. I just want to stay with one, and I just move my line to the front like minus 17, and I finish this, rename it like edit poly connect, and call it leg. Okay, I add another edit poly on top, and also here again I just go into animate and go into polygon, choose my polygon, go into extrude, and also here I just add a value, just stay with this value like 40 centimeters, and finish this, and just right mouse click, rename it edit poly extrude and leg. And the big advantage of this right now is that I can just go up, and I always have the chance to go into my settings again and change my settings. And important, you always have to go and leave this menu with OK, otherwise you lose your parametric options. And you see that I can change all my parameters pretty well. Next step, we want to have a look at our freeform tool OpenSubDiv Modifier, and what we do is we just go into our modifier list, and I just enter OpenSubDiv OP, and then I'm already there, and select this. And obviously this doesn't look too good, because first it's a question of my iterations. If I just put an edit poly modifier on top, then you can just see how many new polygons it created. It divides one polygon by 4, so there are 4 times more polygons. And if I go into my open subdivision and increase my iterations, then you can see that it starts to be nice and smooth. In this video I don't want to go too much into the functionality of this open subdivision modifier, but just explain the basic things. So what you should do is, to be able to control the shape, just add something like a creaset, and the creaset modifier has to be underneath my open subdivision modifier. And what you can do with this creaset modifier, you can go into edge mode and you can see all the edges of my polygon underneath, or you can go into vertex mode. And when I go into edge mode and I just go into my window crossing and turn window crossing off, I can just, for example, choose these edges. Once selected the edges, you can just go under creaset in your creaset modifier and give this a name like set leg 01. And you have a value in this creaset from 0 to 1, and 0 just means you have a nice smooth subdivision, and the more you increase your creaset value until value 1 actually, the more sharp your edges of your crease or your creases will get. And you can see the difference again if I just reduce it, nice and smooth, and here it becomes it gets sharper edges. And what you can do is you can just now have different kind of presets. For example, when I go again into my select tool and select these top, I can just enter a new preset and just say that this is my preset back 01. And also here I can change the value. I can select edges and just say these 2 edges at the back I just want to add to my preset back. So I just go to my preset back, say right mouse click and go into add selection to set. Okay, here we go. So the 2 lines at the back are added, and if I just increase this, you can just see that it turns out to a really nice sharp edge. If you add a smooth modifier on top, which I do now, smooth modifier, and you just say auto smooth, then you can see the edges even better. You have to put it, by the way, on top of your open subdivision, and now you can see that you have really nice shape. And the same at the back. If I go again into my creaset and change the parameter of my creaset at the back, also here you can see that you get a really nice and clear shape. With right mouse click over your creaset, you can see what you can do. You can select elements in your sets. You can delete your set, rename your set, and subtract selections from set, add selections from set. You can also do the same thing on vertex level. So if I go into my vertex level and, for example, choose these 2 vertices, then I go again into creaset and create something and just say that this is called front 01. And these are just now only my 2 vertex points, and here you can also see that you can change it, that these 2 vertex points now can come a little bit out, and there's also a way of how to model your 3D object. And if I go again into open subdivision, then I can increase the iterations and make it even more nice and smooth, but be careful, the more iterations you have, the more complex your model will be, and sometimes you don't see it so well if you don't have an edit poly on top. You think everything is fine, but you already generated a lot of polygons. So I just reduce it to iterations, sorry, 3 again. I just deleted my my vertex crease set, and I go into edge again, and I just select some edges, in this terms with window crossing, somewhere like this. So a lot of edges are selected, and if I just enter this and just say this is left side, and change my crease set, you can just see what's happening. At the end of the day, I just modeled my chair to half side completely sharp edges, and the other one is still nice and smooth. If you want to get to a shape like this, you have to add some modeling. I just switch off my OpenSubDivision and my crease sets, and the first thing I want to do is I just want to change my topology. I'll need a little bit more polygons inside, so I just add a tessellate modifier. And this looks really weird because it's related to my selection in my edit poly. So what I just do, I just add an edit poly underneath, and this is what I want to get, and it still looks a little bit confusing because in my tessellate you just have to enter a value of 0, and here we go, this is actually what I want to have. The next thing is I want to start to deform my basic shape. So again, I just add an edit poly modifier on top. I go into vertex point, and I just show end result toggle off, so I can really see my vertex point. And in my selection, I go into soft selection, and I can define my fall off, somewhere like this. And if I now go into move into my Y direction, you can see that I can move my shape to the back. I can also turn it a little bit and just say I want to select these vertex points, and I decrease a little bit my soft selection, and here I just scale it a little bit. And also, for example, here when I choose these ones, I can also make it a little bit smaller and probably move this down a little bit. It's really handy to use my soft selection for this, and here I just expand it a little bit, for example like this. Okay, and again I just switch on my OpenSubDivision modifier, and I can't see anything because it's still like this, that my show end result toggle is off. I just switch it on, and you can see a huge difference. It already looks quite good. My crease set, by the way, was quite interesting. I just pull it also up under my OpenSubDivision. It looked much better before because it was related to my first topology, but I actually don't want this anymore. I just think it's much better like this. I can add another crease set if I want to, and I just put it again underneath my OpenSubDivision modifier. And if I go into vertex, you can see that I have an impact on my vertex points and also on my edges again. I can just, for example, just say that I select these edges, and I make a crease set and call this, for example, like top, and you can see what's happening. And if I now go into my edit poly, which I probably just rename like edit poly and deform, then I can just go into edge, and best case, if you just say show end result toggle off, because then you can, for example, select your vertex points like this, and best case to say ignore back facing, otherwise you also sometimes select the vertex point at the back. Just select my vertex points, and I just say show end result toggle on again, and you can see what I'm doing. I can just start deforming my surface, and just switch it off again, select this one, switch it on again, and I have a really nice way of modeling my chair and have full control of my object. I just choose my lower vertex points, somewhere like these here, and switch it on again, and move them to the back like this. And if you want to have a clear cut here at the lower point, I just go to the top of my modifier hierarchy. I just go into my modifier and choose a slice modifier, and in the list of the slice modifier I can just open my slice plane, move it down, and you can just say remove bottom or remove top. Actually we just want to remove my bottom, somewhere like this, move it down, and now you have a clear cut at the bottom, and it's still open. You can just see it if I just switch off my edges with F4. You can just see that I can look inside. So you just add a cap hole modifier on top, cap holes, and now it's actually closed. So what did we finally achieve? We have a 3D model with full control. I can still change the parameters of my box. I can, for example, go into the extrusion of my legs and go into my settings and make this a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. I can go into my deformation edit poly and just change the shape like this, and just deform it, and I can do things like this. I can increase my iterations to make it even nicer and more smooth, and can cut it with a slice modifier to have a clear cut at the lower point of my chair for production, for example, and just export it as an STL, and you can just use it for 3D printing. You can model this chair in also different ways. It doesn't have to start with a box. Actually, it makes absolutely sense if you just start with a simple surface, and that's the same way. You just start with a plane, you extrude the first edge, and then you extrude the second edge, you extrude the third edge, and if you do everything in animate mode, you can go into your settings and you can change your settings. This is really good. You can also just say you start, by the way, with a line. This is my line, and I just extrude my line like this. In 20 centimeters I can put a symmetry modifier on top. You just see my extrusion has two segments, 1 and 2. I put a symmetry modifier on top. I could have also extruded it, by the way, by 40 centimeters, and then I don't use this symmetry to mirror it. I put an edit poly on top like this, and with this edit poly I already did some modeling. I just move these vertices up, also these ones on the bottom. I just scaled a little bit. Sorry, it was these two polygons. I just select them, and these I just scaled a little bit. I just put my preset and my open subdivision on top, somewhere like this, and in my preset I just defined a preset at the front to have it less smooth. You can just see what I'm doing. This is the front area where I attach some creases, and if I'm already happy with this result, then I just add an edge, add a shell modifier on top. I just give it a dimension, for example, like 2 centimeters. And if I then just add another open subdivision on top, somewhere like this, then you can see that we have a really nice chair, and also here we have fully control. We even can go back into our line and change the dimensions of our line. So this is also a really good way, and if you think about that you want to have the same dimension anyhow in terms of material, then working with a line or working with a plane is probably even better for this example than working with a box. Thanks for watching.